Hey guys, Josh here, CrossFit Rima, talking Friday's workout. But before we get to that, I want to go over at-home equipment one more time and some of the things you can add in. Some of the really cheap pieces are these fancy bands that we have a million of at the gym. Now, what I'm going to do with it is a thing shown to me from John Welborn, previously NFL football player. He runs Power Athletes, super good dude, but it was to get the elbows warm. So if you have any sort of sketchiness in the elbows when you start doing push-ups, or really any sort of pressing, pushing, or gosh, even hanging motion, and it just doesn't seem to go away until a few sets in, but it does go away, this tends to help. So if you want to get something for at home, I would recommend a couple of bands, light one and maybe a little bit of a heavier one, and all you do, you don't even have to count. You just start doing these old school 1980 Arnold Schwarzenegger pumping iron, Lou Ferrigno, I can't think of any more references, just going into this. And I'm trying to get blood flow into those triceps. Now, I'd probably do it for 30 seconds. I'm gonna take 30 seconds off, then do it again. And it kind of gets the triceps all fired up, and then it makes that elbow pain go away or not even happen before I get into presses. For my warm-up before the workout that we have, before the strength, which is a suitcase deadlift, I'm gonna start getting into a Samson lunge. So step back, I'm actually gonna do a reverse lunge. I step back, and then I reach. And I'm specifically reaching this way to prime this area for that suitcase lift. So I step back for one, reach, and then come back down, do 5 on the right, 5 on the left. Then I'm gonna get down to a bird dog position. So there's a few different things you can think about how to prep for the warm-up. I probably wouldn't do too many hollow rocks, specifically warming up for a suitcase deadlift, because that is gonna put me in a shape that I'm probably not gonna wanna get into for the suitcase deadlift. It doesn't mean that I won't, it means that usually I would not. So when I get to the bird dog though, that primes me for my deadlift position by teaching me under movement to keep the hips pointed to the ground. So when I go, if I rotate and I get weird, obviously that transfers over to the barbell or to the suitcase version of whatever we're doing. That's not what we really want. So the position we're priming is tight midline, hips stay pointed to the ground. You can add in all the fancy arm stuff that you want, but I'll do 10 total there. And then I'm gonna finish it out. I'm gonna go into a hurdler into a T, which again begins to prep that unilateral one side stuff. So I go here, see how much balance I have. Knee up, knee out, keep it high. When I go out, touch. And I'll do that 10 times also. But again, one of the most important things with that is when I take that knee up, easy day. When I take it out, I need to keep it high. So if it immediately wants to drop, there may be some things that we need to do. Ask your coach. I'll do that for 3 total rounds, and then get into my suitcase deadlift. For my strength portion for that suitcase deadlift, it is a tempo style suitcase deadlift, 5 by 5 per side. So 5 on the right, 5 on the left, and each rep has a 4-0-X1. So it kind of starts at the top position. So I have my trusty gas can here, and this isn't heavy. And here's one of the interesting points. What do we always say when we get a PVC pipe? If this just had a little bit of weight, it would be so much easier. But think about it like this. If I was good at it with no weight, how much better will I be with weight? That's a big deal, okay? So this is very light. Can I stay even without the feedback of the weight when I do my suitcase deadlift? The X is the up, so it's a fast up, up, okay? Then when I go down, that's my 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and am I making some weird, even at lightweight doing that doesn't feel good. Am I making some weird compensation to go down? I do 4 on the way down, and it's a 0, I don't have to worry about it, and I hold the top position for a 1. So it's kind of like a second to pause and breathe back, and then I push the hips back. If you watch from the back, once I go down, it's not this. It's still driving the hips back, not letting it shift. Watch it from this side, so again, it's pushing the hips back, not letting it shift. 4 on the way down, 4 on the way down, so on and so forth, okay? And I'll do, again, 5 sets of 5 per arm. My conditioning is super fun. I have 10 straight leg, thereof close to straight leg inchworm, and then 10 Cossack squats per side, and I have 6 rounds of that. So here's what this is gonna look like. So when I get into position for my straight leg inchworm, we've all done these. There's a few different ways. I prefer to try to keep the legs locked. If I gotta bend a little bit, that's fine. But if I keep the legs locked, start to work my way to the floor, then I'm gonna walk out, tight plank position, then I'm gonna walk back. That's gonna be 1. They take a while and they're challenging. I do 10 of those. Then I get into that Cossack squat. So we know what the Cossack squat needs to look like. I get my feet about 3 feet wider than my squat. The reason I have this bench set up is so that it can give me feedback if I struggle with this. I can go to one side, and in fact, I can push it over so that I have a target. So when I go to one side, I'm trying to really see what it feels like to load that leg up. And of course I can remove this, but again, if I struggle with getting to that good Cossack position, then I can do it like it's a box squat. So I target it by putting it away from me, so I have to reach to it, still keeping my chest upright. Here's what's not okay. When I get to my Cossack position, that's not what I want. I'm not seeing how close I can get my chest to the ground. I'm seeing how deep I can get while keeping my torso upright. And again, 6 rounds, 10 Cossack squats per side, and 10 straight-legged inchworms. And then for my cool down, super simple, I'll get my trusty gas can out of the way. And since there was a lot of back stuff, I'm gonna try to get into hero. And again, hero is a back stretch, assuming we can get down into that position, and we try to, as much as we can, lay back. And again, coach is gonna have some different variations of that for you, but if it challenges the front of your shins, then that's where we start at.